Hey everyone, Dr. Frunky here with an awesome new knife console for you on the Peter Rassenti Snafu 2.0. Before I show you the knife, I wanted to show you my two Peter Rassenti knives. Up here is the Nirvana. This is the knife that sort of started it all for me. This was a grail for me. This is the second one that I've had, and it is absolutely perfection. Just the greatest knife really that I've ever had or held, in my opinion, and I just love it to death. So much so that I got a new small Satori at the Blade Show in the same finishes because it's just absolutely perfect. And when you translate it into this knife, it's also absolutely spectacular. So, while I was at the Blade Show, I got to hang out with a good friend of mine. His name is Sid. He goes by rumble.s on Instagram, and he is a very cool guy. I got to hang out with him a whole lot at the show, and he bought this knife. This is the Peter Rassenti Snafu 2.0. Peter made me promise not to make people call this the Snaf-new. He absolutely hates that name, but I said it anyways. I'm really sorry. I have to say it because I also like to call this the small Tori instead of the Satori because it's the small Satori. Anyway, so on the Snafu 2.0, some of the changes are mostly in the shape of the flipper tab. He used the Satori style flipper tab and got rid of the rather long and sort of pocket peckerish sort of flipper tab that was there before. This is a very nice design here. It works very well. It gives you an aggressive launch, and we'll talk all about that. So let's move these other two guys off the screen for a second and see what we're working with here and get some vital signs on the new Snafu. So up front, we are looking at a 4-inch blade. So big blade right here. This is going to be CPM 154. 4.5 inches to the pivot, 9 inches overall. It has got a 5-inch handle, and with the forward choil, 5.4 inches, and here about 4.3 inches of grip area right there. Let's get the calipers going here. Let's see, 0. All right. The blade stock is coming in at 174 thousandths, and the handle is 0.483, so under half an inch. So this is a big knife with 4 inches of big blade right there with a slim handle that's also integral, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison. This is the full-size Snafu. Peter's full-size knives are all about the same in their overall profile. Here you can see the full-size Nirvana. This is the small Satori. You can see how much smaller the small version of this knife is. So there may be some small versions of these knives in the futures that I can neither confirm nor deny that. But you know, he makes knives in a couple of different profiles, and so you can see the sizes here. I'll bring out another couple of interesting knives for a size comparison. Let's get the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3. Yeah, so you can actually see a couple of production knives. You can see that this knife is quite big in its overall dimensions. Now I'm going to bring out another couple of showstoppers here. You know, this Snafu is a full high-end custom integral knife. Now I'm going to bring you some super high-end integral knives, and you got to check out this Michael Raymond Starlet. This is a small, super high-end, very nice integral knife. And then this, for the first time on my channel, you can see the Scott Cook Loxa. This is a very impressive high-end knife that's just come to me. Unbelievable fit and finish integral handled knife. So you can see a couple of other very cool integral knives. These are all going to get their own videos, obviously, but just a cool comparison. I really love the integral handle. That's why Peter's work is so fascinating to me, and so I love seeing his knives and showing them to you guys. So let's go ahead and break this knife down anatomically. Let's see this blade right here. This is done in CPM 154. It's going to be the mirror wash finish that's going to do all the face reveals in the world, but it is a beautiful finish. It is my favorite finish. Obviously, I have the same on both of the Rassenti knives that I own. This one has a fuller in the blade. You can order it with or without the fuller, same as the Satori. This has a hollow grind. I'm sure he will be doing some complex grinds. He's done that on previous models. He sometimes changes the swedges a little bit. You can ask him about that. He's got these stop lugs right here. These are not really thumb studs, but I've noticed if you do it just the right way, they do work. So that's really unlike a lot of his other knives. So I do appreciate that. It's actually a fun little way to open the knife, and it's not too harsh, and it doesn't seem like it's being hard on the knife. So the blade has this forward finger choil going on right here. Allows for a very nice sharpening choil as well. It's a full-size choil. I think he's really moving to having a big choil that a large finger really can fit into. I'm really glad to see that move to making it a full-size choil, to just committing that it's an actual finger choil instead of just sort of an accident that it's a little bit bigger than a regular sharpening choil. I really like that. It allows you a lot of different various grips on this knife, and some are more comfortable and just for whatever task, and it's very, very nice to have that. So moving back here, let's talk about the deployment and the pivot. As you can see, it is a flipper only deployment. Well, it's intended to be. This is really not intended to be a thumb stud. It does work, but it's really not intended for that. You can see that it is a flipper deployment right here. It runs on ball bearing pivot right here. It has this custom hardware with blue anodization on the inside and then satin finish over the top. There's zirconium pivot collars. Well, there's a zirconium pivot collar on the front. You can see it's a frame lock knife. Very, very smooth on the action right there. You can see the blade just falls down under its own weight very easily. I like that there are options to open this knife though. So you saw not only the flipper, not only the thumb stud slash stop lug, but also this fuller allows you to open it. So that is a really excellent and fun knife in terms of opening and deploying and having a good time with it. And that is something that when you get into these high-end knives, it's just something to think about. It's something that we look for, that you enjoy the experience of having and holding and using and carrying and playing with this knife. So that is a thing. Moving back to the handles here, let's check out this awesome integral handle. I love it when it is an integral handle. It's just one piece of titanium. Simple, easy to clean, easy to maintain, no extra hardware to lose, break, or strip out. Just simple construction. Now, some people have told me, some of my friends have said that the Peter Rassenti sort of plain gray finish is not fancy enough to them to warrant the price on these knives. So these knives range from about, I guess, $1,300 to about $1,500. Is the price range on these knives that you see. So they are extremely high quality items made by one guy in Canada, and they warrant the price in my opinion because they're very rare. These are all like one of one examples. There are no other ones exactly like this one. There are no other ones exactly like this one. There may be a couple that are somewhat like this, but maybe not in this exact finish. And so they're just very special knives, and I really like the way that they're made. And I met Peter at Blade Show, and that made it a bit more special because he was a really nice guy. It was fun to talk to him and get to learn a little bit more about how he makes his knives and to see what he had to offer at the show and the absolute artistry that he has. He certainly has some fancier models that he offers up at auctions sometimes. But these are the ones that I really like because I enjoy carrying them, and so does my friend Sid. So I also wanted to say thanks again to Sid for sending this along. We had a great time at the Blade Show. We had 2 a.m. Waffle House one night, and it was a great time. So thank you so much for sending this. He also sent a couple of other great knives, this Riot Jack and this Guthrie Rover right here that we are also going to check out. This is also an integral handled knife, so you know that we were instant friends. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video. Tell me what you think of the Peter Rassenti Snafu 2.0 down in the comments below. Go ahead and click like and subscribe here. Go ahead and check me out on Instagram as Dr. Frunky and Sid as rumble.s. Check out Peter Rassenti. And as always, guys, this is Dr. Frunky saying, take care.